Craving your next action-packed adventure? Audible delivers thrills of every kind on your command, like Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, where a lone astronaut must save humanity from extinction, narrated with stunning intensity by Ray Porter. From electrifying suspense and daring quest to spine-tingling horror and romance in far-off realms, unleash your adventurous side with gripping titles that'll keep you guessing. Discover exclusive Audible originals, hotly anticipated new releases, and must-listen bestsellers that hook you from the first minute. Because Audible knows there's no greater thrill than the one that speaks to you. Discover what lies beyond the edge of your seat. Start your free 30-day trial at audible.com/WonderyUS. That's audible.com/WonderyUS.
Hi, it's Eliza from the fan favorite podcast, Ask Eliza Anything. Let me ask you something. Do you kind of hate your friends? Are you being forced into a destination wedding you don't want to pay for because you kind of have a thing with the bride and the groom? Or are you simply someone who took a dump in your in-laws' bathroom and it never flushed and you're thinking about changing your identity and moving cities? Well, here on my podcast, Ask Eliza Anything, our listeners write in their complex yet personal life issues, and me, along with my trusty steed, Emily.
Did you just call me a horse?
Give you the honest, insightful, and incisive advice that, frankly, your friends and family are afraid to give you. Listen to Ask Eliza Anything wherever you get your podcast.
I'm so excited to podcast.
Meagan, you can't see my bottom half, but I'm actually hula hooping in a sequined bowler hat right now.
Oh my God, is that you, Grace Jones?
Sure
Grace
is.
Jones. We're going to start the show. The show's called Text Me Back Podcast. I'm Meagan Hatcher-Mays.
And I'm Meagan Hatcher-Mays. And you're listening to Text Me Back Podcast.
You know what we need? You know how the Disney Channel used to draw the mouse? And like, that's what we need. We need a symbol of Text Me Back. Maybe it's just we just draw a wiggly snake in the air. And then you know you're watching Text Me Back Podcast channel.
Yeah. That's what we should do that, Meagan.
But I think we can agree I'm making a lot of sense.
Meagan's
right now.
sleepy. If you're listening
I'm so sleepy
to the podcast right now, Meagan's sleepy.
I'm sleepy. I went to Grace Jones last night with friend of the show, Brian. I had two beveraginos, and I once again done for an entire day. I've been sleeping all day because, well, also I'm like just hungover from the experience, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? She just is such an amazing performer, even though she's at this time 77 years old. And this woman was out here in a corset, platform high heels, doing high kicks. At one point, she went backstage and she did an outfit change. She came back in a big old skirt and just hula hooped for 5 straight minutes. Didn't drop that thing once. It was amazing. She played all my favorite songs. She only had like one major outfit change, but I was telling Lindy she had like 10 hat changes. Hat Girl Summer. Hat. Grace listened to Text Me Back podcast, heard that it was Hat Girl Summer, and then she brought 10 hats, hat to Washington, D.C., and then she put them all on. Baby.
Wow.
She put them all on. She had a sequined bowler hat that she had the lighting guy just shine a light directly onto the hat, and it shined its many lights onto the crowd. It was very beautiful. It's for World Pride, so congrats to all of the gay people. I don't know why I skipped over the word gay. I was like, not gay.
That's showmanship, Megs. Not you, not what you did to the gay people, but what Grace did. What you did was homophobia.
Was weird.
Although I've heard it's legal now to do reverse discrimination.
It is legal now to do reverse discrimination. I'm actually going to be suing regular discrimination.
Right.
I think.
Wait.
No.
They're both
victims of reverse discrimination, parentheses heterosexuals, are allowed to sue gay people for being hired, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's illegal to be mean to the straights. Anything that you do to the straights is reverse discrimination. Anything you do to the gays now, I guess it is just encouraged.
Yes, unless what you do to the gays is kindness and acceptance. That is illegal. So I actually will be suing every homosexual who was in attendance at Grace Jones last night. Anyway, shout out to the gays. No, it was amazing. It was for World Pride, and Janelle Monáe was also there. Which I honestly kept forgetting because I was so excited. This is no shade to Janelle. I love her. I've seen her many, many times. But I just like kept forgetting she was involved because I was so like geeked for Grace Jones. And I kept getting these reminders from Ticketmaster being like, don't forget Janelle Monáe. And I was like, when did I get tickets to see Janelle Monáe? Like, I don't remember that. Anyway, great show. At one point, Janelle Monáe opened, of course, and then at one point, like midway through Grace's set, Janelle Monáe came out and stood like we were like right at the front, and she stood right next to us to watch Grace Jones's set, and she was like right like 3 feet away. It was so crazy. It was madness, and now I'm exhausted.
What if
and probably will be for the next 3 weeks.
What if Janelle Monáe came out and was standing next to you in the crowd, and then you heard her say, "Hat."
She was also wearing a hat. Honestly, like it was very beautiful. It's like a beautiful community moment. Like all jokes aside, like I met this older lady who was like, I was like in the worst marriage to a man for like 40 years. We finally got divorced 4 years ago, and now I'm sapphic and I have a lover. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I don't know.
Sounds like reverse discrimination to me.
Yeah, I was discriminated against by her existence. And she's going to be the top defendant in my lawsuit, actually.
If you don't know what we're talking about, there's a new Supreme Court decision.
Yeah, it wasn't a whole decision. It was just like, I mean, the headlines will be like, it's a ruling. This is what they said. But it's more like something got appealed to them. And they were like, yeah, you can. And there was a question about whether or not the lawsuit could continue.
They're like, we'll take it.
Yes, the lawsuit can continue. So they're like basically allowing this insane lawsuit to continue. That is like the most ridiculous possible legal theory, which means it'll be adopted into law probably in like
it's this straight lady, and she like didn't get a promotion, and instead they promoted a gay person, and then she was like, reverse discrimination.
Wow. Meanwhile, regular discrimination, knock yourself out. Anyway, she will be sued. But she was really nice, and like we got to be friends, and she was also wearing a corset. She looked amazing. So then she was like, I'm trying to figure out what pride parties I should go to after. So she was showing us the flyers for the ones she was thinking about. But she said, my son said I shouldn't go to this one. He said it's full of drug dealers and twinks. And I said, oh. I said, how does your son know about twinks? And she goes, oh, he is one. I was like, oh, God, sometimes life is still really good, you know? And then we made friends with these other guys who were thinking about going to Beyonce on the 4th of July, but hadn't gotten their tickets yet. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to eavesdrop, but you simply must get your tickets. I will be there. I'll keep an eye out for you.
Oh my God. You made so many friends.
Yeah, it was really nice. And then,
are you starting a podcast with one of your new friends?
Yeah. I'm starting a podcast with the sapphic and her twinks on. I can't wait. Oh man, it was great. It was just really beautiful. Oh, and there was like a ASL interpreter there, and they had like reserved a spot for the person who needed the interpreter. And so we got to like chatting with her a little bit. We were kind of like trying to put together some signs so we could communicate. She was really good at lip reading. And then her cousin came. So we were talking to her cousin, and her cousin's like, our whole family's taking ASL because she's losing her hearing. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy.
Wow.
But it kind of just felt like that, what we've been talking about on the show. And then we can start the show if you want.
No, we say that every week.
We've never started the show.
I think it's time to come to terms with the fact that this is the show.
This is the show. We don't ever start it. So it's fine. Anyway, it just felt like what we were talking about, where there's just this problem in this country that is not, it's political, but it's not electoral. It's not like really about voting and who we vote for. It's like everyone in this country motherfucking hates each other so bad. And I'm not saying that's not justified in a lot of cases, but you know, just like the entire fabric of our society has been ripped apart, like on purpose by a certain group of people, like by design. They want us to like hate each other.
You mean the gay people?
Yeah. Yes.
Sorry.
That's what I mean. Yes.
I'll stop.
Yes. I think it's important for our listeners to find out that I'm a massive homophobe. It's crazy. No, the MAGAs and the Reaganites and the Bush people. It's just like, this is this long-term project to like make the schools worse so that we're stupid and incurious and like, live in racially homogenous neighborhoods and go to racially homogenous schools. And as a result, we're a very suspicious society here in America. Like this is kind of random, but one really good example of this is like, Republicans are always on and on about public transportation being scary and violent. And it's like sure, anything bad can happen to you on public transportation or really anywhere else. But this like obsession with like Sean Duffy, former, was he Real World or Road Rules?
He was Real World.
Okay.
Real World. I wish it was Road Rules because that would be so perfect. But it's not.
Perfect. He rules the roads now. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway, former Real World star Sean Duffy and current religious freakazoid, former member of Congress, he's now the Secretary of Transportation, was just like, nobody should have to take public transportation. It's so violent and dirty and scary. And it's just like 9 times out of 10, nothing is going on that train. It's getting me from home to work. I'm sorry. That's it. You know what I mean?
Can we examine the numbers of how many people get killed on public transportation versus how many people die in car accidents? Because there's no way more people get stabbed on the train.
Get shanked on the metro. Yeah, it's so weird.
But you know how I know? Because when someone gets shanked on the metro, it's on the news. When someone dies in a car accident,
I never hear about it. Yeah, like unless I see the car accident, I'm not ever hearing about it. Or unless like 100 people die in a car accident, and you don't hear about it. And it's like this, like the public transportation is like this boogeyman for them. And like even Samuel Alito is doing it for this gun case. He's like, well, shouldn't people be able to conceal carry on public transportation because it's so scary? And it was really used as a justification to further roll back like a state's ability to regulate guns.
But you're literally making it more dangerous.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. But it's like, there's this like both little c and big C conservative like fear of being around other people. Like something bad is going to happen to you if you're around other people. That's why we need guns. And I don't know how I got on this topic, but the point is,
because you felt togetherness at the concert.
Yeah, it just is like, I just want to rebuke that so hard. Like, it's so nice to be around other people and to be in community with other people and to celebrate this particular community that is like really bearing the brunt of like the worst shit that our country has to offer right now, especially the T in LGBTQ.
Yeah.
IA plus. Shout out to the pluses, you know what I mean? So it just was really lovely. And it was just it felt very safe and very loving and wonderful. And that is sometimes rare in DC because everyone in government is a murderous psychopath. So
what are we going to talk about today, Megs?
Well, we're going to talk about what we watching. Mm-hmm. If you're a Patreon subscriber, you probably watched Text Me Back After Dark, where we talked about we both have BritBox subscriptions. A little foreshadowing for you what we're going to discuss.
It's British.
It's British. In it.
Gav.
And I've noticed something on the roads. And I believe there's a conspiracy afoot. So we will be discussing that as well. But first, we get to talk about the news.
That's right.
We just took a big swing last week. And we thought we would try to talk about the news. The news of Elon Musk, quote unquote, leaving the quote unquote federal government. Because we were like, what could happen? What could happen?
Surely there won't be any other big Elon Musk news in the next 7 days, so that when this comes out, it will still be the most relevant story about him.
It'll still be relevant. And then on the actual day that episode came out, Donald Trump and Elon Musk, two best friends in a room, or so we thought. The honeymoon is over, folks. They are not friends. Friendship with Elon Musk ended. New best friend fat shot drug businessman, very rich.
Do we think that those could be two and one and the same? Elon Musk and fat shot drug businessman, very rich.
Well, he does say he's very neurotic, and that does describe Elon to a degree. Anyway, it just was like one of the greatest, like most hilarious instances of pre-taped call-in show where we tried to do something. And we were like, Donald, no, if you wanted to call Elon Musk a psychopath, you should have called in last week. It's not that complicated.
As you know, listeners, because it happened a week ago, Donald Trump and Elon had a clash of the Titans.
Yes.
On
Yes.
their respective social media networks that I'm sure ended, and nothing else has happened since then. So
yeah. Yeah, it's definitely safe to discuss now. We can agree.
So I thought we should probably run through it.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people who don't want to, like, say, Google the names Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and then like read for themselves I'm just going to call them tweets. Both of them. Is that okay?
Yeah. There's this was happening on X, and it was also happening on Donald Trump's own social media platform, True Social, because hilariously, Donald Trump has not used Twitter really even since Elon Musk bought it, which this friendship was always on shaky ground, folks.
Well, yeah.
But like, how did this kick off? I mean, okay. So for like a little bit of extra context, so Elon Musk has left, whatever that means, left the government. But when he left, it was, by the way, that the day he was announcing he was leaving, he did this like press conference in the Oval Office. He had a black eye. And he looked like he had worms under his skin. So I don't know, like, what was going on. Like, he kept like doing that thing where you feel like you're like, ugh. Like he kept doing that. It was just like, okay, ketamine, it's hitting. Yeah, it was just wild.
I know this is
nobody knows where the black guy came from either. By the way,
it's such an overused reference, I think, probably. But you know who Elon really reminds me of is Vincent D'Onofrio in Men in Black.
Yeah.
What's that character's name?
I don't know, but he's like just a big roach inside of a pile of human skin.
And like he looks like he's rotting from the inside.
Yeah.
You know?
I was going to say he's kind of like when Nagini takes over Bathilda Bagshot's body. But we really got to stop referencing Harry Potter.
We gotta get Joe out of our lexicon. But don't say Bathilda Bagshot.
Anyway, but like, and also whatever is on the inside of Elon, it's not a powerful snake. So I apologize to snakes too.
We have to apologize to worms.
Oh my God. Yes, we do. Save it after the break. We're going to talk. We have an apology.
We done it again.
Snakes. We done it again.
Okay. But first.
Yes. So, and he's like, so of course, during this press conference, Donald's like, well, he's still going to call me. We're still going to talk. So it seemed like he left on whatever you call good terms with two fucking deranged psychos like them. And then like 5 days later, I guess Elon got pissed because he does not like the spending bill that
call it
Congress
by its name.
The big, beautiful bill, the triple B, the BBB. W? L?
I think actually maybe we should sue them. I think they stole that from us somehow.
Yeah, they sure did. They sure did. So, like, basically, Elon Musk does not like the spending bill for a number of reasons. By the way, I don't like it either. Once again, I'm so confused about how I ended up agreeing with the conclusion drawn by Elon Musk. But like one of the prevailing reasons he doesn't like it is because one, it ditches electric vehicle credits, which by the way, I also don't like. Yeah. Like I wish that the bill did have EV credits in it. Jesus Christ.
And it's not even like he doesn't like that because of the environment. He doesn't like that because of his money.
Yes, it affects his business, which he already kind of shit off into the ground completely anyways, just by sucking ass. But anyway, so he doesn't like that. And he doesn't like that the bill undoes all of the hard work of Doge.
That's the most important thing that's wrong with the
important thing.
That's why I dislike the bill as well.
It'll also kill a bunch of kids and make us all stupider, but it's mostly the EV thing.
Doge worked so hard. It's mean to Doge, and it's going to kill the spirit of the kids that worked for Doge as well.
Yeah, well, no one think of Big Balls and what he needs in life. It's so sad. So that's why Elon doesn't like it. He doesn't want it to pass. And so that's what kicked off this poster's delight over the course of the afternoon. Meanwhile, while this is happening, I'm actually crying, laughing. I've never been this happy in my life. It's just sort of like, if democracy is going to end, I'm glad it's at least like entertaining,
Yeah. Yeah. So should we go through the tweets?
Yeah.
Quote unquote tweets?
The quote unquote tweets.
Okay. So first of all, the Chancellor of Germany kicked this off, actually. Because a special guy that I like to call my friend Friedrich Merz was hanging out in the Oval Office talking to Mr. Trump, president. And he said, President, can I ask you a question?
Can I ask you a question?
And he said, what do you think about Elon criticizing your big, beautiful bill?
Friedrich, you messy bitch. Oh my God. I actually I hadn't seen that. That's so funny. He's like, Elon. Hey, Elon was talking about you. Yes. You know what that is the equivalent of? That's like in Mean Girls when they do the three-way call and you don't know that the third person. Oh my God, Friedrich, you, Regina George, you messy hoe.
Und messnig Bischen. So then Trump is like, well, we had a great relationship, but I'm not sure it's going to continue. I was pretty surprised that he would say something like that. He had a wonderful send-off, and he said wonderful things about me. Pretty surprised. And so then he was like, he's just mad about the electric vehicles, and I didn't even need him anyway. I would have won in 2024, even without his millions of dollars.
His hundreds of millions of dollars. Interesting take.
So then Mr. Musk tweets, whatever. Keep the EV/solar incentive cuts in the bill, even though no oil and gas subsidies are touched, parentheses, very unfair, but ditch the mountain of, this is in all caps, disgusting pork in the bill. In the entire history of civilization, there has never been legislation that both big and beautiful. Everyone knows this. Wow, not very body positive. Either you get a big and ugly bill or a slim and beautiful bill. Slim and beautiful is the way.
How does it always come back to just like making people feel bad about their bodies? Why is my body in it? She didn't do anything.
I didn't do anything to electric vehicles.
I like them.
And then and Trump was like, Elon knew everything that was in the bill. He didn't have a problem until after he left. And then he said he was very disappointed in Elon. And then Elon said, false. This bill was never shown to me even once, and it was passed in the dead of night so fast that almost no one in Congress could even read it.
I love that your reading is so good. And Elon Musk peeked out his head.
False! And then he said, and this is crazy to me, without me, Trump would have lost the election. Dems would control the House and the Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate.
Yep. Okay. He's definitely not wrong about the Donald Trump part. Not so sure about the House and Senate thing, because I think Dems did a pretty good job of losing that themselves. But the president thing, I certainly don't think the $100 million hurt. You know?
And then he said, such ingratitude.
Ingratitude, I think they say in South Africa.
That's really good. That was really good. This is such a insensitive sidebar, but have you listened to that newish case file where it's like a South African guy who's murdering people in Alaska? Anyway,
Yes.
and
they're like, that's Carl. I know him. His voice is so weird.
it was like they played the tape for a whole bunch of people to try to figure out what the fuck weird accent this was. Some people said they thought he sounded European, but weird. Other people were like, but it's kind of British.
And then it's like one detective knew what it was exactly because he had talked to that freak before.
So then
Anyway.
Elon starts posting old Trump tweets from 2013, 2012. Where Trump said, I cannot believe that the Republicans are extending the debt ceiling. I am a Republican and I am embarrassed. No member of Congress should be eligible for re-election if our country's budget is not balanced. Deficits not allowed. Anyway. And then Elon at the time was saying wise words. So then he reposted a screen grab of that and he said, where is the man who wrote these words? Was he replaced by a body double? Such as me? A cockroach in a man suit who came from space?
A snake and an old lady? I don't think so.
I asked my friend Jeff to send Gail into space to get me a new snake to animate my body.
What? I mean, I'm a human man from a country they call South Africa.
See,
not a real place.
See, freaky. Is that how they say it? Okay. Then Mr. Musk says, is it time to create a new political party in America that actually represents the 80% in the middle?
I'd like to see how you got that number. Yeah, that one was a poll. Because I don't know. The way our government works now, X polls are binding.
Yeah. So we're doing it.
We're going to do it. But it's obviously very terrifying. Just really quickly on this one. This one freaks me out probably the most of any of these because there are a lot of very stupid Democrats who are going to see that and be like,
right.
And in fact, some of them already are. Like Ro Khanna, he, in his defense, I guess, did say this before the flame war, but he was like, Democrats should be doing outreach to Elon Musk to let him know that we care about science-based solutions and electric vehicles and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, he killed 300,000 kids. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, the thing that drives me crazy in this country, and this is not unique to any one political ideology, this country is obsessed with the idea of genius. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the reality is that there really aren't any. They're just really, there are people who are like sensationally talented and there are people who make genius stuff, but we are obsessed with this idea that like Elon Musk and Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, like they're geniuses. And like, it was never true about him. He's just rich. And so for the longest time, even after we knew Elon was kind of a piece of shit, but he maybe hadn't gotten this bad, people were still getting Teslas being like, well, the work he did on Tesla is so genius. Like that was used as this reason why it was okay to keep getting the cars. And it's like, he didn't develop that car. He just bought the company. He's not an engineer. I don't even know what he studied in college, but he's not an engineer. He doesn't code. He's not a genius. He's just a rich white weirdo. Like that's it. But we're just obsessed with like the myths that these guys make about themselves. And it's true for like Mark Zuckerberg too. It's like this myth that he's like this incredible genius who couldn't be constrained by couldn't be confined by Harvard. So he had to drop out. Like that kind of like college dropout myth is so prevalent among these white guys in Silicon Valley. And again, there's nothing wrong with dropping out of college. It's just there's only a certain type of man usually who gets to use that as like a data point for that they are a genius. Like no woman, no person of color would ever be able to do that.
No.
You know, and Elon's the exact same way.
I think that Americans love the idea that one individual super genius is gonna figure everything out and save us all because that absolves you of any kind of like collective action,
Yeah.
community support, any kind of being part of the solution yourself,
Mhm,
because you could
mhm.
just be like, well, no, someone smarter than me is going to come along and figure it out and save us. And it's simply never true.
Yeah.
It's never
Right.
true. And it's just the rugged individualism or
Yeah,
whatever.
the disease that continues to affect us all to this day,
Right.
that like we can all do it ourselves, and we should. It's good to do
Right.
it yourself.
And it's so interesting because when I think about what I learned in school, like they teach everything that way.
Mhm.
Like I remember when I got to college and I took like real school and the teacher had to teach me in college, like, you know, Rosa Parks didn't just decide to do that. It was like
Yeah.
a plan. It's
It
part
was-
of a planned movement.
Yes.
And I was like, oh,
it was
yeah.
organizing hundreds
Right.
and thousands of people. Yeah.
But they teach you that everything is just like, yeah, then one brave person fixed it.
Yep.
And so just don't worry. I'm sure
Yeah.
that'll happen again. Okay. So then Trump hops on Truth Social and he says, Elon was, and then he puts this in like scare quotes, wearing thin. Like, do you think he's not smart enough to be trying to do
No,
like an
he can't be, like,
entendre about the-
referencing the Ozempic, the fat shot drug.
Right. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that
Yes.
nobody else wanted.
We were forced to buy them.
Everyone was forced to buy them. That he knew for months I was going to do. And he just went crazy. And then he says, an incredible moment in history. The easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it.
Once again, I agree. What is happening? What's happening?
I know. It's like, yes, please do that, but don't do it so that you can make up for all the money that we lose in the big beautiful bill.
Like what?
For the disgusting pork.
The disgusting pork.
Like,
It's so crazy.
also, Meagan, okay, I mean, this has been very interesting, and obviously by the time this comes out, we'll know more about the fallout. But
yeah,
like,
let us know what happens if you're listening.
God, it's so cool that we get to talk to people who are living in the future.
I know.
But I just don't understand. Okay, I suspect that this is already creating a fracture in the right between the Trump boys and the Elon boys.
Yeah,
But,
yes,
like,
you can see it. You can see it a little bit on Twitter. Yeah.
At what point do working class Americans read that and say, wait, sorry, what? Wait, the government is giving the richest man in the world billions and billions of dollars because the president is his friend?
Hello? I mean, I
Hello?
just wonder. I mean, I never know how like non-terminally online political people perceive this stuff. I don't know how it breaks through or if it does at all, but it's just like, this is one of the most deranged days in politics that we've had in a long,
Yeah.
long time. And I just wonder, like, if what people are getting is like sort of a watered down version of how crazy this is. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure that the press is really like leveling with people about how
Yeah.
unusual this is for like for the richest person in the world to basically admit to everyone that he was using financial leverage over the president to get what he wanted. That he was like, I mean, he's like admitting to, I mean, not extortion, but you know, he's like admitting to glad handing and quid
Right.
pro quos, basically. Like, interestingly enough, like corruption in government is actually the one thing that brings Americans together. Everybody hates it. Republicans hate it. Democrats hate it. Independents hate it. It's one of the reasons why the Supreme Court, the stories about Supreme Court justices accepting lavish gifts and trips, the polls show us that is broadly unpopular to everyone. Nobody likes that. Like, that's the one thing I think Americans really hate is corruption among powerful people.
Yeah.
But I think the stories they're getting about it is like, oh, controversial businessman Elon Musk has meltdown on Twitter, or President Trump and Elon Musk disagree. That doesn't tell you what is going on here. Like, that's actually not telling you what's going on. And so I do wonder, just like, for lack of a better word, like, how are the normies getting this information? Like, what are they doing with it? But because it actually is crazy, just as you say, because like that should actually be the headline. Right. World's richest man gets billions of dollars in handouts from the government. Like, but of course, like, they never do that because it's like, well, that's not objective. But it is objective. It is objectively what's happening, you know?
Yeah, I'm reading this off of a New York Times timeline. The headline is just, read the insults hurled between Trump and Musk. And maybe you don't need to give us context because we know who Trump and Musk are. But it's the president of the United States and the richest man in the world. And it's not just insults.
It's political favors being traded over the course of a day online. Like, that is insane.
It's insane. The part of that last one where Trump says, I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. So it's like, okay, so you're acknowledging that you could just do it.
Yeah.
And you're not. Also, you're sort of acknowledging that, like, Biden was doing actual governance and you're not interested in that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, yeah, what he's admitting is that I will retaliate against you personally if you offend me. And I'm the president of the United States. Like, that's why DC's mayor is being like a soft-spined freak about it, because, you know, Donald Trump will retaliate against you and he'll take your money. He doesn't care. Like, that's not how we do things, but yeah, I guess it is. I guess it is how we do things. But like, to your question of like, is this going to fracture the right? It seems like it is. I mean, on the one hand, you have, I don't know if you saw this tweet from Jack Posobiec. And I cannot remember if he's one of the ones that personally called you fat or if that was just Mike Cernovich.
Oh, they all did, I'm sure.
They all did. But anyways, Jack Posobiec, he has taken the path of, this isn't a big deal. So his tweet about it was, some of y'all can't handle two high agency males going at it, and it really shows. This is direct communication, parentheses, phallocentric, versus indirect communication, parentheses, gynocentric. I understand you aren't used to it. Fellas, is it gay to communicate directly? It seems like it might be.
Help me.
But then on the other hand, you have Ian Miles Chong, who once sensationally got hit in the face with a concrete milkshake, or so he claims. He is saying we should impeach Donald Trump and let JD Vance be president.
I saw that.
And Elon Musk retweeted that one favorably. And then you have Kanye kind of on the yes, Kanye West, the rapper, says, bros, please no. And then it's like the two men hugging emoji. And it says, we love you both so much. It's like, oh my fucking God. It's just, I don't know what's gonna rise from the ashes here, but I don't know. I think it's gonna be like Kanye versus Ian Miles Chong versus Jack Posobiec versus Elon Musk. I don't know what political party is going to be created from this, but I'm sure it will be amazing. It'll be amazing.
I don't want to get into it, but the fact that these are just like fucking ex-Gamergate morons who are now somehow involved in the government.
They're the government.
They are.
As I like to say, you know, all those guys who complained about the Lady Ghostbusters are president now.
Yep.
So
seems normal. So anyway, Elon said that it's a lie, that he went crazy and that Trump asked him to leave. And then Elon says, time to drop the really big bomb. And he says,
oh man, I'm so excited for you to say it.
At real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT.
He said, Gucci. Mwah. This is the point where I had to lay down on the floor.
Dude.
I was done. I was not alive anymore. She was gone. As Beyonce said, she gone. Goodbye.
This immediately sent me down a rabbit hole in my own mind. Is it like, did Trump tell Elon? Yeah. The reason we're not releasing the Epstein files is because I'm in them. Why does he know? Did he read them?
Why are you willingly turning over compromat to Elon Musk?
Or did Doge? Did Elon just have access to them and then he read them and then he was like, "Oh, Donald's in here."
Wow, that's crazy. The question is, like, did he know about it before the election, or did like Kash Patel, who is our psycho FBI director, like be like, "Oh, Elon," at the last UFC fight they went to, he was like, "Do you want this?" and just gave him a copy of the Epstein files. Like what?
And it's just so crazy because it's like, okay, so you're acknowledging that being in the Epstein files is bad.
Yeah. And your best friend up until 2 days ago is in it.
And you didn't say anything because he was giving you billions and billions of dollars.
Again, I don't think the headline is capturing exactly what's going on here. You know?
By the way, I didn't realize we were just going to yell about the government for the full hour, but
yeah, we're cutting everything else.
That clip where Dan Bongino is like, Kash Patel works every day from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. I don't see my family during the day.
Even in the article, in the interview, he was even like, my ex-wife, I mean, my wife, who I'm divorced from, I mean, still married to. It's like, oh my God. You're blowing up your family so that you can arrest Black Lives Matter protesters? What's going on?
And you don't even like it because you've never had a real job before?
Also, the hours you're describing are kind of normal in this state of capitalism. I'm so sorry, babe.
Dan, I'm so sorry to tell you this. Some people have 2 jobs.
Oh, no.
Kind of because of you guys.
So you guys did that. And they're not 2 jobs at the FBI.
They're not 2 jobs where you sit in your office all day and talk to Kash Patel about people's secrets.
Where you guys look at the Epstein files and laugh. It's not that.
Anyway,
okay.
I loved when he heard about having a job for the first time.
Yeah, he was like, they make me go to the office and they make me go on my computer and they make me type things in the computer and then sometimes I have to print it out and the printer is out of ink. It's really hard.
I thought for this job that when they send the 4-year-olds to defend themselves in immigration court, I got to punch them.
That's what they said. They said that I got to fly the helicopter over the protesters and throw Molotov cocktails at them, but I don't get to do that. I have to make a PowerPoint presentation.
What does collate mean? What? How do I put more staples into the copier? The copier? They said I got to use the stapler, but the copy machine has its own stapler.
They said that the copier can do it, but it never works. So I have to staple it myself. And sometimes there's 10 reports I have to staple. So that's what's going on with the government.
Wait, hold on. It's not over. After Elon told everyone that Donald Trump was in the legendary rapist report.
The globe's most famous human trafficker.
That, by the way, his party, it's like, look, look, Epstein, thumbs down.
Yeah, not good. Hey, Text Me Back podcast does not endorse the behavior of one Jeffrey Epstein. Okay,
but the right is way more obsessed with Epstein than the left, which is already crazy because that video of him and Trump hanging out and being like, "Look at those bitches' asses, I'm gonna grab them." Okay, and they're like, "That wasn't." He didn't even really know him. Well, it looks like he did.
No, we barely spoke when I flew on his plane to the island.
Anyway, it's like that's you guys' special interest.
I know that's like what you guys like. I don't know
your hyperfixation, but anyway. So Elon tells everyone, but don't worry, because Trump responded, and he set the record straight by saying, "I don't mind Elon turning against me, but he should have done so months ago. This is one of the greatest bills ever presented to Congress. It's a record cut in expenses, $1.6 trillion, and the biggest tax cut ever given. If this bill doesn't pass, there will be a 68% tax increase, and things far worse than that. I didn't create this mess. I'm here to fix it. This puts our country on a path of greatness. Make America great again." And it's so the New York Times is like, Mr. Trump signed off with his signature catchphrase, and I was like, "You fired?" Like, how did I
You're
forget?
fired?
How did I forget he has a new signature catchphrase? I'm sorry, but "you fired" is a better catchphrase.
Yeah, he should have used it in this tweet about, or this Truth Social post.
Then Elon kept going, and then we'll stop talking about it. But he did say, "In light of the president's statement about the cancellation of my government contracts, SpaceX will begin decommissioning its Dragon spacecraft immediately."
I saw that and I was like, is that supposed to mean something to me? I was like, is that bad? What does that do? I don't know what that is.
Again, I agree with that. Decommission everything you're working on.
Please. That whole fucking company. Get the hell out of here, man. God damn.
It makes me like, it makes me feel like, oh, that's what you've been working on? Sorry. You've been making a Dragon spacecraft? Yeah, absolutely. The government's been paying for you to make a Dragon spacecraft? Absolutely cancel that.
You've been building a dragon with my money?
Sir?
I don't want to imagine that dragon, sir. No, thanks. It's
anyway.
crazy. I just really quickly want to go back to fucking Ian Miles Chong being like, Donald Trump should be impeached. I was like, yes.
However,
I agree. But not for hurting Elon Musk's feelings.
No.
Not even by the very broad definition of high crimes and misdemeanors would that count as either. But maybe for the blatant corruption that we've seen play out over the course of the last 6 months. I don't know. Keep me posted, Ian. Oh, and then, of course, meanwhile, Steve Bannon is telling various news outlets that Donald Trump should revoke Elon Musk's citizenship and deport him back to South Africa. So that's
do it.
That's what's going on with the right on this fine day in June.
Ian Miles Chong once wrote on Twitter, posted something I wrote for the New York Times and said, "Move on. Lindy West can't move 10 feet without getting winded, and you expect her to move on?" Good one. You got it.
Nailed it. Got her.
I know this isn't exactly AI, but I will say that the one technological advance that I appreciate lately, because most of them I don't like, but the thing where now the computer can read words in the image, it means that I can search anyone's name in my immense back catalog of screen grabbed tweets of people being mean to me, and I can find anyone who was ever mean to me. And
again, it's just like, it's bad for America that any of these people are this proximate to power. And it's also just deranged on a personal level that somebody who called my friend fat is like, gets to decide whether or not I have health care or whatever, or whether or not kids get to go to school. Like,
yeah. Yeah,
just on a personal, I don't even know how this must feel for you. I guess I would just be dissociating.
I mean, Ian Miles Chung does not work for the government, fortunately.
Well, yeah, but he still is like, he's like influential, you know, in those circles and those
so stupid. Just the dumbest people who've ever lived.
I know. Well, it's like, and like there's this article. I know this article with that guy Curtis Yarvin, who is the most deranged, like, and he's so stupid. But these guys, they're like Tony Robbins almost. It's like, because the vice president is also incredibly stupid. Anything that you say, if you say it in the right voice, he'll be like, wow. And so Curtis Yarvin, who's like, by the way, we should replace American democracy with a monarchy, is like JD Vance's best friend. And they talk about, it's like, what the fuck is going on? I don't understand. Anyway, meanwhile, Tesla's stock price tanked over the course of Thursday's flame war.
And then Trump was like, I'm selling my Tesla.
Which is the same Tesla that Ted Cruz took a picture with and posted on his Twitter account. It's this bright red. It's so ugly. And like, they did this whole, well, this was all happening because there's been these Tesla takedown protests where people are protesting outside of Tesla dealerships, and which is, by the way, domestic terrorism, apparently, according to the Department of Justice. So be careful out there. But anyway, he basically did an ad for Tesla for like on Elon's behalf, where Elon brought over a Cybertruck and like a red Tesla of some model, I don't know what kind. And Donald Trump sat in it and he goes, wow, it's all computers in here. It's computers. This car is computers inside. Everyone was like, yay. You got it, Mr. President. You're so smart. Like, cow goes moo. Tesla has computer. Like, he's so fucking stupid. Anyway, so now he's like, I'm going to sell or give away my Tesla. We were talking about this before we started recording. It's like, okay, like, where is it right now? Right. You can't even drive anyways. Presidents aren't allowed to drive.
I mean, do you think he even can drive? Like, he grew up in New York and he's probably always had a chauffeur.
I don't think he probably never has ever driven. So it's not like becoming president like restricted his liberty in some way. I do remember Joe Biden being very annoyed when he was president that he wasn't allowed to drive, or vice president. Yeah. And so they kind of lost track of him once. Actually, it was at an EV event at a Ford plant. And they're like, where's the president? And they couldn't find him. And it was because he had like taken one of the Ford Lightnings, which is like one of those electric F-150s, and he was just like doing donuts in the parking lot. And they were like, Joe Biden, no, you're not allowed to drive.
Like in the movie Dave.
Like the movie Dave.
Or is it exactly. It's in the movie Dave, right? Where he takes Sigourney Weaver out for chicken or something?
Is that Dave? Or is that
or is that the American President starring Michael Douglas?
I don't know.
We're going to have to do a rewatch.
Listeners, give us a call, 703-829-0003, and let us know if Kevin Kline did donuts in the film Dave.
I don't think he did donuts, but I think he borrows Charles Grodin's funky old car, puts on a disguise, drives out of a secret exit from the whatever. It doesn't matter. We'll have to rewatch Dave. But wait, before we go on to something else, I want to say that I searched Cernovich in my old mean tweet screen grab files, and there's like Mike Cernovich tweeted about me all the time for like before
your computer overheated and
yeah, like me and Mike Cernovich go way back, way before he was involved in politics, when he was just selling gorilla powder or whatever, when he was just like a men's rights guy and not like Gamergate hadn't happened yet. He was already he was in the Lindy West hive. Yeah. Because one time he made a whole YouTube. I wish I had known how to do screen capture at that time. Yeah. Screen record. Because he made a whole YouTube video about how I want Lindy West to come live at my house with me for 1 month. And she will lose 60 pounds of pure fat and gain pure muscle. And she will eat everything that I tell her to eat. And she will hang out with me every day. And I will give her $10,000. And it was supposed to be like a roast on me. And I was like, man, you're offering to pay $10,000 for me to be your friend.
Do you have any friends? Oh, dag. I'm sad.
It was honestly really sad. I've always felt like those guys are really sad, but now they're
of course, yeah. I mean,
they're so destructive now that
you would only ever be this violently crazy if no one well-adjusted and happy acts this way to other human beings.
But
So,
I just,
in a way, it is very sad, even though they're evil.
they're so evil, and there's no room left really for empathy, because they decided to be so bad, so they missed their window. But okay, this just made me laugh. This is not even something that Cernovich said. He had clearly tweeted something about me, something mean about me. I don't know what it was. And this is a screen grab of the responses. And just this person said, it's just made me laugh. It's not relevant to anything. It says at Cernovich, Lindy West violently stole my hamburger out of my hand in the McDonald's drive-thru with her fat lunch lady arms.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
I did?
I don't remember that.
First of all, I would never get a hamburger at McDonald's.
Don't be insane.
Don't be insane.
McDonald's is for nuggets.
Bare minimum a cheeseburger. You think I'd be getting a dry ass plain
hamburger.
McDonald's hamburger? How do you think these lunch lady arms got so fat?
Yeah.
From
not by eating hamburgers, bitch.
Quarter pounder with cheese. Anyway, I just saw that when I was idly flipping, and it made me laugh.
I look forward to finding out how out of step with reality this episode ends up being a week from now when it airs. We tried to talk about the news, and the news taught us a great lesson, which is if you record your podcast 1 week in advance, you better be careful. Looking forward to seeing what happens next Thursday.
Meagan, it didn't teach us a lesson, because we did it again.
Look at what we did.
We immediately did it again.
I know. And speaking of doing it again, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to apologize. We're going to end the show.
Hey, Trump, Elon, if you're listening, and I know you are, can you guys just not do anything for the next 7 days?
Yeah, can you keep it tight until next Thursday? Thanks.
We'll be right back.
Listen, speaking of, we done it again. We done it again. And we, by the way, didn't even notice. Producer Alli had to step in and make us aware of a grievous error that we made in last week's show. Lindy, would you like to explain what we've done again?
Meagan, I can't believe that I take full responsibility. I done it again.
Yeah.
I filed the screwworm under normal news, and it's obviously Snake of the Week. Oh my God. The man-eating screwworm should have been Snake of the Week. What is wrong with me? All worms are snakes. We've said this over and over.
It has been established on this program.
Jesus
All
Christ.
Worms are snakes. And once again, this podcast has let down an entire genus. I don't know. I don't know, man. Species.
Reptilius Maximus.
Who could say? And we, once again, have discussed a worm under the auspices of normal news. It's not normal news. It's Snake of the Week.
It's Snake of the frickin' Week, dude. You know what this is it's invertebrate erasure.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing that really sets snakes and worms apart is bones.
Yep.
And I have behaved like a bone supremacist.
Mm-hmm.
And it is just as valid to not have bones. And you can still be a snake, even if you're a worm. And I think it's very clear that the man-eating screwworm is a snake, will always be a snake. Even when it's a fly, I think it's a snake.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Mm-hmm.
That's what they're saying. And I would be honored. To have our Snake of the Week last week, parentheses, corrected, and amended the man-eating screwworm. Eat my man any day.
Yep. To all of the members of the screwworm community, this is for you.
Snake of the week.
That was for you. And we're so sorry. And all we can do is be better. Be best. Be best.
We can be best. And we can, is our children learning that worms are snakes? And we can post a Notes app apology screen grab on Instagram, which we will do. And I think that will cover it. I think that's fine.
Yeah, I think so. And then you guys can maybe just go be flies and leave us alone a little.
You guys,
I think you're like an invasive species. So
we still don't want you to come here, really. But
no, but we are really sorry.
And we will give you this.
Snake of the week.
Oh, one last order of business. Producer Alli says it's possible to adjust the audio so there's no lag from the media board when Meagan and I do our dance. So you will be able to see
that we are properly on the doses and the quattros, buddy. And with that, we're ending the show. We had other stuff we were going to talk about, but I think we both knew going in that this was going to be about the tweets. This was going to be about the girls fighting over social media. By the way, I just love the idea that like the PR machinations of the MAGA people being like, some of y'all can't handle high agency males. Like, this is how communication works. It's like somehow like the actually like trying to reframe this as some sort of like badass communications battle between two like alphas. And it's like, dog, they are not even on the same social media platform talking at each other. Like, this is the very definition of indirect communication, parentheses, gyno. You know what I mean?
Right. So it's phallic to tweet bitchy stuff at your frenemy
on two different
platforms.
Yep. But it's gyno
to talk it to their face and
I guess
fist and fight physically in a cage.
And
they might kiss.
That's girl culture. That's girl culture, baby. So that was this week's episode. Hope you enjoyed.
I want to say one last thing, which is that having escaped Twitter culture, it may have harmed my career in certain ways to have removed myself, but it certainly enhanced my life. And and I used to be so wrapped up in how stressful it was, how tense and mean and just scary it was to not know what horrible shit was going to be inside my computer when I picked up my phone in the morning, and just like fighting with people all the time and people like trying to hurt you on purpose every day. And then you try to leave and everyone says you're a coward.
Yeah.
I used to take that so seriously. It's so liberating to watch this happen and be like, oh, that's all a joke to me now.
That shit is crazy and I don't need to be a part of it at all.
No, and I'm not. I have transcended. I'm gone. Oh, you guys are still doing that?
Yeah.
You guys are still, I mean, I understand you're the president and like this is bad. But
there's like a lot of people, you know, like progressive people, lefty people who still use it, and there's like this subset of liberal thought where it's like, well, we should stay here and fight so that Twitter doesn't become an echo chamber. I was like, dog, this is not a battle. Like, it's so fine if we lose the battle of X.
It's already an echo chamber. You're not changing minds.
Like the way that this is set up, it's even worse than when Jack ran it. The way it's set up is if you pay Elon Musk $8 for the verification, your stuff gets amplified. That is the definition of an echo chamber. I'm not going to give him $8 just to have my bad opinions in the mix. Like, who cares? It's stupid. It's not the only communications platform. Other stuff exists. And once again, it's not like the Civil War. Like, it's just Twitter. Log off. Who cares?
You guys and your little spats. You have no power over me. I don't care.
No power over me.
This is not part of my life. And so have fun, boys. I wish you weren't the president and the richest man in the world, but
maybe he'll get impeached and JD Vance will be president instead.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Curtis Yarvin can be vice president. It'll be amazing.
Jesus Christ.
Or Kanye West.
And
who could say?
Yeah, we kind of breezed past that Kanye moment, and I know we have to leave, but man, Kanye's really doing a lot.
Is certainly doing a lot. Oh, speaking of Elon Musk, it was so funny because somebody had shared that Ro Khanna thing about how Democrats should talk to Elon Musk more about how our values align or whatever the fuck. And somebody shared it basically being like, I don't think we need to find community with the guy who does the Nazi salute at rallies. And I read that and I was like, oh yeah. Like I genuinely and legitimately fully forgot about that. That happened on day one, literally day one of Trump's presidency. And so much has happened that did not stick in my mind at all. And I saw it in a post yesterday and I was like, oh, Jesus. I forgot about the double Nazi salute at the inauguration. Oh my God. So that's how I'm living.
Also, again, I don't need to say this, but don't you guys remember 2016? We already tried that. Like, you guys already insisted that we had to reach out to the fucking stupid ass Republicans and try to get them to like us. And it didn't work. Some of us said it wasn't going to work because you know what? It doesn't work unless you fundamentally change the party into a racist.
Yeah, which is apparently a lot of Democrats want to do.
They're ready.
They're raring to go, which makes me feel really good. By the way,
you can't reach out to those people unless you give them what they want, which is to be. They specifically want to be racist. Yeah. So sorry,
there's a whole bunch of people in that movement who we don't need to bother.
Do you understand? Do you understand that if you make the party overtly racist, then the base of the party doesn't want to do the party anymore?
It's basic math, folks. Anyway, thanks for listening. If you liked it, patreon.com/textmebackpod.
Are we going to do a closeout?
We're doing it right now.
This is it. Did you say well? Did you say your catchphrase?
Oh, well, bye. Also, people got upset because my headphones broke and then I didn't do the mwah. So there you go. They did? Yeah. Well, one person did message and they're like, what happened?
Oh my God, that's cute.
Isn't that cute?
Someone else, I don't know what to do about this because someone else was like, can you please not add Trump drops to the media board? I don't want to hear his voice. And I was
sorry.
Like, but all I want is to play very rich. Very rich. Can I just have very rich and none of the other ones? I won't do any of the other ones.
If you will give Lindy permission for very rich, we will keep doing the show until you die. So, thanks.
All right.
Okay, we'll see you next week. Let us know what happens. Oh, we're so